Hello everyone. Om Shanti. Namaste. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Welcome you to all to our most awaited episode, that is Treasure of Experience, that is casting from our Manmohini Divine Studio of Shanti Sarovar, Hyderabad. I know you all have been awaiting for this another episode. So as a point we had made, in every episode we bring one experienced brother or sister to share among their experience that can help us in our daily lives and how we can improve our meditation too. So today we have a very special guest amongst us, that is Brother Tim from Sydney. Welcome, brother. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
He has been practicing meditation since over 23 years, the Raj Yoga meditation that we have been hearing. So today he is amongst us to share some beautiful experiences of his life that has been encountered through Raj Yoga meditation. So once again, welcome, brother, to our show. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you.
So brother, I would just start with a general question that we usually ask, that how did you encounter this path of Raj Yoga meditation and what made you bring into the spiritual life?
Well, how I came in connection with the Brahma Kumaris was actually through a friend, and they told me that there was a place I could go to learn meditation, and so I'd been a few times, and so I'd taken the introduction of the Raj Yoga course. I started it a couple of times, and I have a confession to make. After 23 years, I still haven't finished the course.
Okay.
But it was some years later when I was in my late 20s, and as a young adult in the West, looking for happiness really, and I'd really gone out and sought all the different kinds of happiness that is on offer, and like most young people, that means social life, that means career, that means relationships, and really sort of getting caught up in them, and spending so much time and energy and money as well.
Okay.
But still finding that there was something missing. And so my sense of what was real happiness was something that was eluding me. And it reached a point when perhaps you can say the seed that had been planted when I'd gone to the meditation center, it started to bloom. It started to sprout. And I reached a point where I really thought that if I want to bring about some change in my life, that has to start with my thinking.
Okay.
That made a lot of sense to me, that unless my thinking was in order and my mind was stable and positive and calm, everything we do starts from how we think. So how was I going to, feel that I'm in charge of my life? How was I going to even just feel peaceful and calm and happy if my mind was just, like a tornado between my ears?
So brother, you have mentioned that you started at early 20s, if I'm not wrong, the meditation. So, and you mentioned that it was through finding the happiness. So when you started this particular meditation or the spiritual journey, did you encounter any kind of difficulties or challenges, either from the society or from the family members or friends, etc.?
I think one thing for me is my family and friends have always seen that, always had the expectations that I would make my own way.
Okay.
That I would go my own way. And it seemed very logical to me that just because everyone's traveling in one direction, it may not necessarily be right for me. I remember some years ago a friend was telling me about someone they knew who as a child, they were quite troublesome, and they were taken to a psychologist. And the psychologist showed them a picture of a crowd of people, and they were all moving in one direction. And then there was one person in the crowd who was moving in the other direction.
Opposite direction, okay.
And the psychologist asked this young child, they said, "Who's going in the right direction?" And the child pointed to the one person who was heading in the opposite direction to everyone else. And that makes a lot of sense to me, that, yeah, I think we need to be prepared to find the direction that is right for us,
ourselves,
rather than move along with the way that everyone else is moving.
Oh.
Yeah. For me, I had to sit back and think, is what I'm doing bringing me what I'm seeking? So that was and it was a crisis point, really, that there really such a hunger for happiness, that a life worth living is a happy life. And it's very difficult when you're doing all the things that you think are going to bring you happiness, but it's still missing. So that was one of the things that when I started to meditate and when I started to look into the spiritual knowledge behind it, there was a deep sense of meaning behind it. And the further I looked into it, there were a lot of answers that were coming my way. And so that was a real incentive to, look further and put more time and energy into it, because, when you're starting to get a sense of meaning and starting to get a sense of purpose that, you haven't found in other aspects of life, that's a signal that, this is a good way to go.
Okay. So you got the signal at the right moment, if I can say that.
Yes.
Okay. So that means it's been like late 20s. So as mentioned in your bio, I guess you have 23 years of experience in meditation, right? So definitely you would have been working at that point of time as well. And so wasn't it difficult for you to, go on the spiritual journey as well as continue your professional work and find that balance? And did this spirituality impact anything on your professional journey?
Well, the immediate answer is yes.
Okay.
The more elaborate answer is, in my late teens, I'd done some work experience. As part of the school program, we had to find someone to do a couple of weeks' work experience with. And I worked with a fellow who was a jeweler, making handmade jewellery.
Oh.
And he was an incredible person. He was quite eccentric and really someone who did things his own way. But he created such beautiful, unique pieces of jewellery. And this is a great inspiration for me. So I ended up following that in terms of my studies and career. Mm-hmm. But it did reach a point where it seemed that if I was going to succeed, that my job would have to become my life. And I had such a hesitation, because in terms of meaning, in terms of a reason to live, for me, a job is it's a way to use our energy, it's a way to earn an income, but for me, it's not who I am. And so when I started meditating, and my thinking changed, and so after a few years, I was led to actually working in the disability sector. Oh,
so change in path directly.
Yes, yeah. Okay. There were a few jobs in between, but it's like having to find a job that really engaged my heart. And it's funny, I almost think that line of work found me rather than me finding it, because opportunities came and I went for interviews and not based on any experience, but just based on my character. And
Okay.
people would say, "You're really calm." They just find me very relaxing and calm to be around. And so that was something that, they thought would bode really well for that line of work. And it actually became a bargaining tool in a kind of way. So for 20 years, I would say to employers, I lead a very balanced lifestyle and I need enough time to look after and maintain that balanced lifestyle to bring what I do to the workplace.
Okay.
So in order to come to work and to be calm and what have you, I can't work, a 40-hour week. So I'd always bargained to work part-time. And so there was enough time for my spiritual practice and living in the meditation center, but also taking that, that practice and living it in the workplace. Yeah.
So you mentioned that the profession chose you, the new path that you have been working for disability sector, that profession chose you because you were kind of calm and composed. So is it because you started spiritual journey, or is it because it was inbuilt before that, and that kind of calmness should be shown on your professional work, right? So the spiritual journey, did it enhance more, or did you develop that kind of quality by starting the spiritual journey?
Yeah, I think we all have the potential. It makes sense to me that's an innate part of the human spirit, despite the fact that the world is so upside down, people seek peace, and this is absolutely universal. Perhaps they go about seeking peace in, you might say, a very backward way, and we can look at the examples that are happening in the world in terms of political violence or what have you, and any kind of violence is never going to lead to peace.
Right.
But I don't think I was especially peaceful before I started meditating, but the potential was there. And the more I had a taste for it, there was experience of it, and that was the incentive. And it made a great deal of sense to me that according to the outcome that I was seeking, I'd have to put in that much energy. And so the friend who had led me to the Brahma Kumaris, I remember them sharing that someone stopped them in a bookstore and asked them if they meditated.
Okay.
And they said, yes, how can you tell? And they said, well, you're very, very peaceful.
Oh, it's been shown on the face.
Yeah, and that was my incentive. I thought, wow, I'd like to be that peaceful that people, notice it. And then when I came to the center, I met the woman, the sister who is in charge there, and I thought, wow, I'd like to be as peaceful as she is.
Oh, that's so nice. Like, we can see the reflection of meditation, the peacefulness on the face, and that attracts people to be that peaceful and calm. That's really interesting.
The thing was, I thought, if this continues, I'm just going to meet people who are more and more peaceful. Where do I draw the line? And I thought, you know what? I want to be as peaceful as I can be.
Okay.
Rather than take my measure from anyone else, let me be as peaceful as I can be.
Makes sense, yeah. Completely. So, brother, from our previous conversation, I just recollect that you were staying at Brahma Kumari Center. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm...
Okay. So, I just had one question. What kind of inspiration that got in there that you have to, stay at the Brahma Kumari Center and, continue this journey?
The more that I understood this knowledge, for me, I think there was a decision that rather than it being an interest, it should become a lifestyle.
Okay, lifestyle.
Yeah, so rather than it just being something that I do every now and then, I thought the results will be now and then. It was something that I want to experience the benefits of, then it should become an everyday practice. And there was the opportunity to move into the meditation center.
Okay. And you got into that?
Yeah, so that came after 1 year, the opportunity came. So for the last 22 years, I've been living in different centres.
Okay.
I'm currently living in the Brahma Kumari's Blue Mountains Centre for Spiritual Learning, which is a retreat centre, and is a very famous wilderness area outside of Sydney. So it's about just over an hour's drive from Sydney.
Oh,
And
okay.
the centre itself is on 132 acres of Australian wilderness, which we call the bushland.
Oh,
And so we're surrounded by trees and birds, and there's a natural water course running through it. And
that's so beautiful, the way you are describing it.
it is. And the altitude is it's nearly 1 kilometre, so it's just under, I think it's 980 metres.
Okay.
And it has its own weather pattern, so it can be very sunny and then suddenly cloudy. If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes, it'll change.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a lovely place to live, and living there as part of a community. There's about 10 full-time residents, but people come and help. And we have the shared interest of leading a peaceful life and making the most of our own skills and talents and time to give other people an experience which is spiritual, and to maintain a spiritual atmosphere. So it's not only beautiful in terms of the nature, but hopefully beautiful in terms of the vibration in a spiritual sense.
Okay, so are there teachings that being conducted there on a daily basis, or how does that work? If someone wants to visit the center and start meditation, then what is the thing that they usually recommend?
There are those who are staying there, and then people in the local community who come. We have a daily study.
Okay.
People have been meditating in that retreat centre on every day for the last 20 years plus.
20 years? Okay.
Yeah. So that creates an atmosphere. And we run retreats mainly on the weekends. So there's retreats for both regular students of the Brahma Kumaris, but also retreats for members of the public.
Okay.
So having a weekend away is a great Australian tradition. So it matches very well that people have the opportunity to spend a weekend away where they can, learn meditation, they can take spiritual knowledge, they can eat pure vegetarian food that's, I like to say that it's cooked in a very prayerful manner. And people always comment on the food.
Okay.
Even though it's very simple, it's not five-star dining. But we just say the secret ingredient is love, that it's cooked with love.
Interesting.
So, so that's really the main thing that we do is run retreats and allow people to come and, you could say, recharge their batteries, and also, get a greater sense of who they are and the direction that they want to take.
Okay, so I guess viewers, this is one of the most interesting part of this episode again, because anyone looking for a weekend getaway definitely should visit Brahma Kumari's Sydney Centre, which just Tim brother mentioned, and especially taste the food because the special ingredient is love. So, and maybe continue this path there by taking the learnings from the teachers who are present at the Brahma Kumari Center. So, brother, I have understood that it's been a long journey. So, reflecting the past 20 years of your spiritual journey, what kind of benefits or changes that you have seen in yourself that you want to share with our audience today?
Might seem like an odd thing to say, but I think one of the experiences that I have is that I feel like I've become more myself.
More yourself, okay.
And it's something I saw when I came along to the Brahma Kumaris, of people at that time who had been practicing for, a couple of decades, is they had such a quality of character and It's not that I'd known them beforehand, but there was just a real essence of who they were. It's like they were very anchored, they were very centered. They had a very, very deep sense of who they were. Mm-hmm. And in a subtle way that came through. And for me, that was something very, very attractive. That here is an opportunity for me to deeply understand who I am, and not just on an external level, not what the world would see, but much more on an internal level. Okay. So I'd have to say it's been an internal journey, but it's something that I don't think I would ever want to give up, having the opportunity to know who I am on a spiritual level. It's something that's very, very reliable in having a sense of direction, the choices I need to make, the directions I need to go. And there's a real sense of, that I'm guided. And it's a very, very valuable thing. I'm not sure if I've managed to put it in words.
No, definitely. So it's more of internal journey and discovering oneself. So can I say that it's a continuous exploring yourself? Just wanted to again bring it up. This one question is that, is there any stop that, I have to stop the spirituality now because I know who I am? Is there something like that?
I think if I were to ask anyone, how long do you think it takes to get to know yourself?
Right.
I think most people would agree it's a lifelong journey.
Okay.
But at least there should be experiences along the way that we have different insights and we have different realizations about who we are. And that means looking beyond just one lifetime.
Okay.
So, this is where, for me, it becomes very, very interesting that the journey that I'm on is much more than the length of one lifetime.
Okay. That's really interesting. Thank you so much, brother, for being here and sharing the invaluable experiences that you encountered during your life. So I'm sure that whatever we have known today from your experiences or your journey definitely has kept an impression on many of us today. So especially I would take this that it's a journey of oneself, not just the external but definitely the internal one as well, and there is no stop for it. It's a continuous journey that will take a lifetime. So thank you so much for sharing a lot of invaluable experiences here. So viewers, I'm sure you have gained a lot from here, and especially those people who are staying in Sydney, I would definitely recommend to go there, visit the center, and people apart from Sydney can definitely visit the nearby centers and gain this Raj Yoga meditation course as soon as possible because the benefits are more here. So I'm sure that today everyone loved today's experiences that we have heard from Brother Tim, and in case you want to hear to such even more good, amazing experiences of other brothers and sisters, please do like, comment and subscribe to our Shanti Sarovar YouTube channel. Thank you so much, brother. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Namaste.